Welcome to our series, The Power of the Press, where we're highlighting the collections at the International Printing Museum. And right now we're focusing in on more of our small printing presses. And once you start talking about small printing presses, you immediately land on the name Kelsey. And Kelsey is just ubiquitous for the hobby and not quite toy, but small printing presses. And they got started in 1872 in Meriden, Connecticut. And I do not have one of the first ones, but we do have a couple of the early Kelsey presses. So William Kelsey was the guy who started the company. And this is the 1870s. There's quite a few of these small tabletop, close to being toy printing presses that are being marketed out there. And in the 1870s, they're migrating in their marketing efforts towards young boys, even more so than the office printers. People wanting to print their own business cards, for example. Now, Kelsey, what's interesting on the story is that he was a marketing specialist. So he actually drew a printing press and he advertised it. He had a nice drawing of his printing press and he advertised it for $5 in the back of the boys' magazines. And people started responding and sending in. He did not even have a press that worked. He simply had the concept of a press. And the drawing still exists. The press never worked. And then he quickly figured things out and then had some people help him, and they actually engineered and designed a good press. The signature press for Kelsey is the Excelsior. And there's the early model of the Excelsior right here in front of me. And you can actually see on the side, you can barely be able to see it probably, but on the side in the casting is Excelsior. On the other side, it is the Kelsey Company. And then they call these ones, this design is a boat shape. It's got that curve on it, so it's a boat shape. And it's got the handle in the front, squeezing the platen. The flat surface, the earliest presses, they were all hand inkers. So you'd get your ink up your type, locked inside. To keep the type in place, you have to squeeze it in two different directions. And instead of using what printers use, which are coins, Q-U-O-I-N-S, and that's a set of wedges that you hammer together, wooden wedges. On Kelsey, his idea was, well, we can save some space here, and we're going to use these screws. And so you put some wood in called furniture, and then you use the thumb screws here to tighten it down in both directions. So there's a set of screws on the one side and then also up on the top. Something else on this one, so the earliest ones are the hand inkers, and then they went to self-inking presses. Oh, you're going to lose me behind this one. And so you've got the ink disc up there at the top, the ratchet on it. Same basic design on all of it. These date to the mid-1870s. This one's missing its rollers. The Kelsey. And his advertising, the language he used was, be your own printer. Make money. You too can make money. He had these great ads. That'll be another episode when we just go into the advertising for Kelsey. But he knew how to sell presses. The back of every kid's magazine, you'd get the entire kit. He would sell you the type, the cards, even images that are on blocks to use in your press, different size presses. And his presses started out small like this up on the table, and they went all the way up into full-size platen presses with flywheels on the side and treadles on them. We have a number of those in the collection as well. But Kelsey did so well, they absorbed most of their competition. And if anybody got into hobby printing, if they were growing up in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, even into the 60s, they remember Kelsey. That's like the one press. When somebody calls me up and says, oh, I've got a little tabletop press, I say, is it a Kelsey? Oh, yes. How would you know that? Because they sold a lot of these. They lasted right up until 1990 or so. Here is the Excelsior, just a later model. This one is a 5x8, the Model U. Got that stirrup handle there. Hard to operate this one from the back. There we go. Don't have any type in on that. Now, here's another feature on a Kelsey. He's trying to make it so that's a complete outfit. You got a lever in the back, and your bed where you keep your type comes out. The reason for that is that you can then put this on a table and you've got a perfectly flat surface to set up your type. The chase itself still has the screws to work in place of coins to tighten up and keep your letters from falling out. So now you've got a really good flat level surface to work with. Once you get that, you place it back inside your press and you're ready to go. Kelsey, the press, the boys' press. Girls also enjoyed it as well. But if you ask your grandfather if he was a boy printer, chances are he was doing this on a Kelsey. And these Kelseys went from very small, 3x5 inch printing space, all the way up to like, I think there's one that's 11x15 that we have. And that's a big boy. One of these guys on steroids. So the famous Kelsey Press.